Welcome back, everyone, and here we are at our CTF OWASP Juice Shop. And we can start going through and just gathering some information about the CTF. It's usually what you want to do first, just to check things out and try and gather information to complete your objectives. Just remember, we're looking for the scoreboard and we're looking for the XSS vulnerability in the page. So first things first, you need to find the scoreboard. Now, you can dismiss this, or if you want some help, it has some useful tips for Juice Shop. So we can click on the help getting started and it'll have a little tutorial. So we can see it is an application that has security vulnerabilities. Your progress exploiting these will be tracked on a scoreboard. That's the reason that we want to find it, and it's going to go through. So you're not going to be able to find a link. Finding the scoreboard is part of the challenge, and that's one of our challenges that we're working on. So let me see if I can just get this to go. And as an option, and one thing that you can do, and this also happens quite frequently in cybersecurity, you can just try to guess the URL for scoreboard, or you can use some tools such as the inspector, which is one reason I included it earlier in the course, to help find out information. So I just want to finish this. Let's click out. Let's see if it closes. That's fine. I'm going to just continue. Let's just see if we can get this tutorial to close. We can leave it there, or we can refresh the page. Let me just refresh the page really quick. There we go. All right, so here we are, Juice Shop. If you went through the tutorial, we saw those steps. If you click dismiss, this is what you're going to be looking at, and we can start just trying to gather some information. We have to find the scoreboard first. And we can see it has a link and a menu option here, and we don't see scoreboard listed. We want to see the scoreboard. All right, so what can we do? Mentioned previously, we can just guess URLs. We can type in scoreboard here and see if it works. So let's go with scoreboard. All right, let's go here. And we don't have a success. That URL did not work. And this is an option mentioned previously in cybersecurity. It can come down to a lot of the times guessing, trying things out. I believe, and don't quote me on this, recently, a few months ago, I want to say individuals, it was related to Linux, and they were just entering random keys and discovered a vulnerability. So this can happen when we try to think outside the box. If we don't want to just sit here and guess, or we guessed a bunch of times and we can't find it, we can launch the inspector to see if we can gather some information. So launch the inspector. Well, first thing you're going to see is the elements of the HTML doc. And you can cruise through this to try to gather some information. I'm going to pause the video and give you a moment to see if you can find anything useful. I want you to look around to see if you can gather information to find the scoreboard. When we come back, we're going to see an option for finding that link to access the scoreboard. Okay, so we're back, and we can cruise through here as an option, but you're not going to find too much for the scoreboard. You can find useful information. You can find information about the links. If you click on this, you can cruise through to see information. Let me actually click on that about the structure of the page. But one thing that we can actually do as well is go to the sources, and we can see the index page here. So say we want to select the index and we want to search it. You can search previously in the other page in the elements as well, like this, and we don't see anything matching for score. All right, so that's not too helpful to find our scoreboard, but we can also see some JavaScript, some scripts here loaded. You could check the styles for the CSS, but let's take a look here at the main JavaScript file. And again, we're looking for the score, so let me see if that comes up. Okay, so we can see that we have 40 matches here. We also have this pretty print option. We can click off that if you don't want to use pretty print. So I'm just going to click off, and we have our 40 options. I'm going to search through them because I want to see if I can find out any useful information about that link within the JavaScript. And just searching through, I could see scoreboard referenced here, but we've tried scoreboard before and that didn't work. I'm going to go through here as well. We see it spaced with scoreboard. We can keep going through. And I believe I skipped one. So just checking a look at the scoreboard challenge, scoreboard status. And okay, we have something here with scoreboard visible set to 0 in the array there. And I'm just checking the scoreboard information. And I was continuing through the scoreboard options, and I see something interesting here as a scoreboard reference, but it has this mark between the scoreboard. So that's something I haven't tried yet. Let me just go back, and we have scoreboard. All right, so we did find information with the open before set to a specific value, but we also have a scoreboard here, and you know what? That's something I didn't try. So let's try that. We have the URL reference. We could simply try scoreboard. Because we want to open this up as a reference, that just might be helpful. And let's try it. Let's open scoreboard and see if we're successful. And there we have it. This was actually the URL that we were looking for. We can see the scoreboard. It's just a helpful or useful reference. We're looking for any information that could be in the URL. We have solved that challenge. You could actually look at the JavaScript information further to see, how it was built, if it's on click or if it's not showing, not visible. Those are things you want to look for. Or you can see references to the actual URL, see how scoreboard is listed within this information. So I believe it was 24 out of 40. And let me go back. And it was also at 24, I believe, 24 or 25. I'm seeing the mail list item, the router link, and also the /scoreboard here. We can see a reference to it as well. It's just an option to help go through and look for information. You could have guessed it, or you could use the scripts, the index page, anything for gathering information to reference that scoreboard. Okay. So in the next lecture, what we're going to be looking for, let me just close this up. Congratulations if you solved the first challenge without any assistance. And if you didn't, that's absolutely fine. That's how we learn. We're just looking to understand how we can find processes. And that's not the only process. There are other methods. You can, like I said, you can guess, you can search information. It's just an idea how it was built to see how they use this scoreboard reference in the JavaScript file. Now, the next thing that we're going to want to do in the next lecture is to perform an XSS attack, find that vulnerability. So we're going to go into that in the next lecture. We're going to perform that DOM XSS attack. We're going to be looking to this script. So I'll give you a hint. Look for options on the page that you can submit or add a script into to execute it. That's what you're looking for to find that vulnerability. But we're going to pause here, and in the next lecture, we're going to go through the XSS. All right. I'll see you guys in the next lecture.